All right, well, you're good to go for the second one. Take you to this Rockstar. You're welcome to have a drink. There's not much left. Can you pull up those questions I sent you?
I can.
Please. All right, guys. Hello. Episode 2, Married to a Bodybuilder with my gorgeous wife, Angela. I just want to start here and be crystal clear because I guess somehow in translation, a lot of people thought we should date. Well, we're married. So I dated her for 4 years, married for 11, almost 12, coming in December. So, again, just want to be clear. We are fully married.
We do date still.
Yes, we're going to go on a date tonight. Actually, so as you can tell by the thumbnail, the title of today's episode, in terms of the topic we're going to start with before we get into the Q&A, is going to be: do we train together or do we not? And to get a little bit more in depth and detailed, as you guys know, I train like a bodybuilder. My goal every time I step into the gym is to gain lean muscle tissue if I'm in the off season and at the beginning of prep. And then when my calories get super low, the goal is to simply maintain lean muscle tissue and not lose anything. So I'm gonna get her to say what used to be your goals in terms of in the gym when we met versus now.
Well, when we first started dating, obviously I was doing bikini and...
Figure actually, but...
Oh yeah, it was figure. Oh my God, I always forgot that.
Because there was no bikini when she started with me.
That's right. God, that's how old we are. So it was, of course, back, shoulders, glutes. My quads and hamstrings are already way more defined than they ever should be. So don't have to worry about that, thankfully, or not thankfully, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Now, honestly, for the most part, it just varies time to time with how much time I have, which literally goes against every philosophy that he has. So it's a lot of total body. It's a lot of...
You're obsessed with ass training.
When I choose, if I had to choose to train, it's always shoulders and glutes, always. Yeah. Like there's no other option, is there?
Well, there is for me, but not for you. And I'm good with that as your husband.
So that's where we are.
All right, so for us, there's been periods of time where we have trained together. But for the most part, typically our schedules never aligned in that manner. For the most part, she used to either train with me personal training her, either before work, during her lunch break, or after work. And then actually on the weekends for years, I would train her before I worked out. So I would train her, then I would work out, she would do cardio, and then we go usually get something to eat afterwards. Was what most of our Saturdays and Sundays looked like. I usually took Sundays off, and then we'd go in the gym and I'd trash her glutes for like 2 hours, like hardcore chains, barbells, squatting, deadlifts. It was actually a ton of fun. Probably the most fun I've ever had training another person in my entire life, because she would just kind of just like putty in my hand. She didn't care. Like, she loved to be tortured. And that's one of the reasons her and I always got along, even before we dated.
And not to mention, I had to do cardio afterwards. So just don't think that he just trained me an hour in the gym earlier. It was so we could leave at the same time. And I always had to do cardio. So I did cardio while he trained.
Right. Yeah. And then, I think to go in a little bit deeper too, so we would occasionally do like shoulders together when I trained them solo. We would occasionally do legs together. She's rolling her eyes only because I'm going to tell you, if you've ever worked out with me personally, I'm
sorry.
I do a fuckload of warm-ups and a lot of feeder sets. So let's take a leg curl, for example. If her and I were in there together, I'm going to do at least 2 to 3 warm-ups. I'm going to do 3 to 4 feeders. I'm going to do a couple work, and then like a death set. She's like, no, dude, you don't need that many.
Okay, hang on a second.
Go ahead.
Listen, we used to train together every Friday night. Friday night was back. We do back together on Friday nights. And so we were training one day, and this is like the epitome of our training together. So we did 3 sets, 4 sets, maybe 5. Maybe we were on set 5, and I finally said, okay, how many more do you have? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm just warming up. And I'm like, I'm shot. Like, the amount of weight I put on the set is very different from yours. Like, I can't warm up with a 10. It doesn't exist on the stack. So I think that was one of the points where I was like, we can't do this anymore. Or I would do 2 exercises in his one set. I'd do a set with him, and then I'd go do a set of glutes on the side, and then we would come back together, and I'd do a set with him and a set on my own, because nobody needs that many warm-up sets.
I do a lot of warming up. I warm up more than most people work out, so
it's true.
It's just a fact. Like, and I've always been that way. Even when I was young, even when I was in my 20s, I was that way.
I believe that.
I do 10 sets of squats before we actually started squatting. But again, that's just always been my style and philosophy. I do move at a fast pace. So does she. That's always that worked well. But like, if you look at like my training split, for example, she tried to do arms with me one day. Yeah, it's pretty funny because after like a half the workout, because I do higher volume arms, like she's like, "Bro, I can't even move my arms." I'm like, "Well, I got like 6 things left." So
that was just my warm up exercise.
Right. So again, if she was, that's back when she was on a figure, bikini, whatever. And then now, like, it just doesn't serve either of our purposes to train together. I actually get more enjoyment leading her through a workout at this point in our life, and honestly, I always have. I do like working out with her for on the road. Like, I remember there was one time we were at Virginia Beach with one of your sites, and we went and hammered shoulders in the gym together, and like that was a ton of fun. Yeah. But that's like a one-off thing. Like, she's not going to train chest. She's not going to do as much upper back because she doesn't even want remote trap development. She's not going to train hamstrings like I do. She doesn't need a bunch of quad like I do. Now, would I serve to probably train glutes with her? It would probably help me out a lot. But I don't need it 4 times a week. So, and again, she's not going to hit arms nearly as much as I need them to. So in terms of us working out together, our splits, our goals are just so drastically different that it really doesn't serve a lot of purpose. But I will say, to kind of wrap this little piece up, is I do trust her to spot me more than anyone in the gym. So like, it's really funny. We used to always go to the YMCA on Saturday mornings, and then honestly, we go on Friday night, because I do a double split workout. I'd hit chest at night, right? And then the next day when I had arms, well, what's really hilarious is there'd be tons of bros in the gym, right? It's a health and fitness center, and of all those dudes, I'd go over and ask her to spot me on like an incline dumbbell press. She's like, at the time, like, I don't know, you were like 125, maybe 115, and I'm like, all right, spot me, and all these dudes are like, what the fuck? I'm like, but listen, she knows I don't need her to lift 130 pounds. I think it'll help me just bump up a little bit. So she knows when to spot me, when not to spot me, when to get her hands off me. Like, she's not one of those people who are going to have her hands all over the bar or hands on my elbows, like, because that's a huge pet peeve of mine personally. Like, don't fucking touch me. It's my weight until I need help. And she's been around me long enough to know like when to help. So it is kind of funny. Like, I do trust her to spot me for absolutely anything. I mean, you worked in the gym well before when you were in college. So, and then, I mean, she's taught group exercise and now teaches Orange Theory. So she gets what I need in terms of spotting and things like that. But
well, and there's nothing more in the whole world that I hate as a female, for a man to come to me and act like I don't know what I'm doing in the gym. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. And especially, I've had people say to me kind of like when he's not around, well, he trusts you to spot him. And I'm like, more than you. And, so it's, it works, but it is about trust. And we have been together for so long, but, training together just isn't feasible. I don't know if you guys can hear in the background, mom. That's the other reason we don't train together typically. If we're going to the gym on the weekend and we have that child watch, we got to get in there and focus on our separate things and get out. So there's just not a lot of time. Chris is not a playful person in the gym. He might send me a text message or creep on me when I'm doing something, but we're not going to stand around and talk to each other while we're working out. And so unless we're on vacation or it's just a time where it's not very serious, it just doesn't make sense for us to do that together.
No. And I mean, it's just, we spend time outside of the gym together, not in there. It's two just separate purposes. Like, we both like to get after exercise, and
we just don't train the same.
No.
So.
No. All right, so let's get into these questions here. These are all sent to me either DM or on Facebook. So we're going to start here with, these are questions to her. Do you ever get body image issues when I'm in shape? So when, I guess, inside of 6 weeks out, what does it feel like for you?
I'm going to say that it depends on where I am. I'm pretty confident in myself no matter where I am. If I'm
And that's why I love her.
Big, small, in between, whatever. I don't really, get get tied up in a lot of that stuff. But it is, there is this unwritten, unspoken rule in this community that if you're married to or dating someone who's in really good shape, that you should be in really good shape. When the reality is that's not normally the case. It's normally one person focuses on it, not the other. I remember very early on, I was really young, I was maybe in high school even, and I was working in a local YMCA, and these two women came in, really big women, bodybuilders, just muscle head to toe, just looked incredible. And these two guys came in behind him, and they were little skinny, scrawny. I'm not sure they'd ever been in the weight room before, but they took care of them. They were at their beck and call. They were holding, I don't think this is when people were taking selfies in the gym, but actually, no, it wasn't. But that was it just doesn't happen that way. And I think that's what most people think. And again, anybody in this field knows, or in this industry, I think that it's not about that, and it's not, it's not a judgy, typically fitness people are judged a lot based on how they look and how hard they work in the gym. It is not a judgment-free zone. However, I can say that the pressure from the people that are not in the community is stronger than the people who are. And so it's a lot of that, like, well, why aren't you, what do you, man, your husband looks so great, and he's so, man, his abs, and he's so ripped, and, that's what most females see. They see abs, they literally go right to the abs. So just for you gentlemen who maybe aren't with someone, that's what literally our eyes are drawn to first, if we can see them. Otherwise, maybe arms. We don't really give a shit about the rest. So little tip for the trade.
You don't like how big my legs are?
No. I don't really care about your legs. So, I think there's just there is a lot of pressure on the other person. And if you get wrapped up in it and care about it, then it can be pretty, it can be a big mind fuck. I think that if you just kind of let it happen and just know that it is what it is, and you're with your person for whatever reason, that you fell in love with them in the first place. Maybe it's personality, maybe it's the way they look, maybe it's how generous they are, whatever that might be. I think that it's just something you have to focus on, especially as your partner. You have to not think about you and think about them and what their goals are and what they're doing, because it can be kind of stressful. And I think that even going to shows, the people who are in shape or who are competing are half naked, literally the whole time. And if you're not in that position, you see a lot of people in baggy shirts and going, kind of covering up a little bit. And I think that's why, because there's a lot of that unwritten, unspoken pressure to look a certain way when your spouse or significant other does.
Let me throw this out there. What is my favorite size for you to be at?
All sizes.
All of them. I don't care. I love her. Just me being honest. So to kind of put that out there for the flip side, right? Yeah. I'm with her because of the person she is. It's just the truth. Do I love the way she looks? Hell yes. But that's here or there. That doesn't matter to me. And it never really has been. So, all right, next one. All right, so this one is, what do you think when you see me training in the gym? I'm assuming they're talking about, because I have a hood on in the summertime, I'm spitting and screaming and what most people would say being in my own world. So please be honest with what you think. Really? Maybe the first time, or maybe the first time you're truly exposed to it, and then what it is now.
Well, it's changed over the years, right?
That's true.
So when we first started dating, his go-to warm-up was pull-ups. He'd always be over there doing pull-ups. And so I would be on the gym we were at, I would be on the stair mill at the gym, and I'd be looking at him doing pull-ups and oh my God, he's so hot, he's so this. Now we go to the gym together, and I hear him grunting and screaming. I'm really, is that necessary? You're wasting energy. So it's kind of a funny, I think it's cool. I think he trains hard. He works hard. Obviously, I think that comes across in any of the videos you watch. But I think he's an idiot most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the most loving way.
Yeah, listen, I do what I want when I want.
But spitting on the floor is disgusting.
Yeah, right. I used to do stupid shit. I used to blow my nose on the floor before squats.
Oh my God.
That used to drive her batshit crazy. It was just a bad habit I got into.
Hence the reason we don't work out together anymore. All right, let's move on.
Again, yeah. Okay, next one. All right. What's it been like watching his progression? And from your eyes, from your perspective, what is the most challenging thing for him? Now, let me say this for you guys that don't know. when I met her, I was 175-ish pounds at 5'10". Now, my fasted weight this morning was 243. So, to put things in perspective there.
I mean, I think that it's just, I don't notice it day to day because I'm with him all the time. So it's not something you notice. It's something your parents notice. It's something your friends notice. It's something your neighbors notice. It's something random people at the gym notice and say stuff to you about. So I actually went to I went somewhere to meet some people. It was a work thing, and someone came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, you're Chris's wife." By the way, just to kill the misconception, I do work. I do have a job. Anyway, so it was like, "Oh my God, Chris, you're his wife." So I have somehow become Chris's wife, which is interesting. But it's fun to watch us change. You know, I think the biggest thing is that it's just different. Like now he puts his arm around me and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're so heavy." And
I can't lay on you anymore.
Oh my God, no, you can't roll over. Like it's he's heavy, and so that's the biggest thing. He used to be this little tiny guy when I first met him, and he's not now. So.
You used to complain that my hip bones dug into your hip bones. And then now it's like, you're suffocating me. So, yeah, I mean, all right, what do you think the most challenging things have been for me in terms of bodybuilding?
The most challenging thing?
Yeah. That was the second part of that question.
I think early on it was getting all the food down.
Eating, yeah, 100%.
I think now it's the opposite.
Yeah. Getting all the food down.
Getting all the food down?
Yeah. Especially right now, like
being able to eat the food.
I want to eat everything.
It went from not being able to eat all the food to wanting to eat more food. So yeah. I think that's the most challenging thing. It's just kind of learning how to navigate through that. I think that Chris has a little insider chip. He never thinks he's as big as he is. So when we like walk through doors or we walk through, small spaces, he's like having to like scrunch over, and it just makes everything a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, or we'll walk into a restaurant like, why are people fucking staring at me?
Yeah, people aren't staring at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not staring at you.
Okay. All right, next thing here. This is a funny question. What do you say when your friends, family, coworkers ask what kind of supplements I take?
I actually hate that question. And the honest to God answer is I have no idea. I don't know what you take. He drinks protein.
All of them.
He takes, sometimes I do say that. I don't know. He takes all of them. I don't know. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. I don't have, I'm not naive for people who are like, oh, she doesn't know. I do have a very good idea, but I don't keep up with that. That's not my job. That's his job, and I expect him to manage it. I can say that if he's going, to compete without me or whatever, I'm like, I need a list of everything that's going on right now. So in the event you fall out on stage, I can tell the doctors exactly what's been going on. So I think that is a really big question. I don't randomly go up to people and say, hey, what kind of birth control are you on? Or you just don't ask people those types of questions. And I don't know why in this community it's very common for people to ask those questions, but it's offensive, honestly. And it's
I've heard you say before, which is really a good comeback, is how many face creams does your wife use and what brand are they?
I mean, right.
Because what's funny is I'll have dudes ask her what kind of supplements I take. You can ask me. I'm fucking 15 feet over there. Yeah. Like, it's really kind of comical. And she handles it well. So
yeah, I think you just have to. I mean, honestly, those questions are just, I'm like, why are you curious? You can ask him. I always put it back to him too. Feel free to ask him if you have questions. And it's just a weird question for people to ask you. But
yeah, I'll say this too, is like, we've always been open and honest with each other about everything in our life. I don't hide anything, because I think, because I get that a lot from people that I've worked with in the past, is they try to lie to their spouse or just not tell them about it, and to me, that's just going to cause problems and issues. She doesn't need to know every little detail.
Yeah. Well, my other answer is every granite supplement on the planet.
Yeah.
Everyone, go to their website, just click yes. He takes all of those. Does that help?
Yeah.
Honestly, we use All Star Health. We,
Life Extension, New Ethics.
So those are the ones. That's how I answer that question.
All right. So that concludes. We're going to try to stick with those 4 questions for today. Yeah. But now, so last week, she has to tell a funny story about me, so I'm going to share one about her. We were at the Virginia Grand Prix, and we were sitting backstage. She was doing, that was your first bikini show that you ever did. We were sitting backstage. I am watching Ronnie Coleman 50 feet from me eat 6 foot of Subway sub. All these bikini girls are around and have no clue who he is, right? Well, her and I do. And so we just walk up to him because we're sitting back in the area like where it's only females and coaches. So it's just her and I and a bunch of bikini girls. And like I said, none of them freaking knew who he was. And so we just walk up to him, and I get to watch her oil this giant fucking human. And you were so, like, giddy and happy about it. Because I think he was in the all-season, so he was, like, 330, I think is what he said at the time. So, it's always interesting, like, to hear her perspective. That's in a story I tell people because they're like, oh, I bet you think Chris is huge. Well, no, she's literally been in the arms of Phil Heath and Branch Warren at the Arnold Expo. You've put oil on Ronnie Coleman on the all-season, like, I'm not that big compared to them. So, you have a pretty interesting perspective
there.
The
best part about this story is that I had to go backstage. We got separated somehow. I had to go backstage. I had to go a different way. Oh, I had just finished coming off stage. And I had to go back a different way to kind of get back to the audience. Well, Ronnie Coleman was up there eating a meal, like kind of sitting by himself at a table and chairs. And I was like, I stopped and talked to him for a second. And of course I'm like, oh my God. So I came back and I was like, just so you know, Ronnie Coleman and I are best friends now. So that was like, he was so mad at me for like weeks because I had like this. Now, obviously I said hi and probably 2 words to him. It was a short conversation, but.
You still got to oil him though.
I did get to oil him.
That was pretty cool.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was good times.
All right, last thing. Bonus question for you to end the segment. My biggest in the gym pet peeve that I want to rip someone's skull off for. Go.
I can only pick one.
Top 3.
People sitting on equipment, not using them on their phones.
Correct.
I don't know. That one's kind of clouding my vision at this point.
Okay.
That was the biggest one I can think
That's
of.
the biggest one? I mean, yeah, I think you're right.
People staring at you.
Yeah.
So I'm very glass half full. He's very glass half empty. I'm like, Chris, they're just watching you because they're impressed. And he's like, no, they're fucking staring at me. So just for the record, they're not just staring at you. Or they might be staring at you, but it's positive intentions, not negative ones. Cool. So that's the other one. The third one is...
Please, go ahead.
Exercises that don't make any sense.
Right, name one. Go.
I don't know.
Weighted side bends with 2 dumbbells. Weighted side bends in general. What?
But there was a famous rapper that once said you could do side bends or sit-ups.
Yeah, they do. But please don't.
But don't do it.
Dear God, don't.
Still train the glutes, though.
Yes. No, that's for abs. Remember, they're making their obliques smaller. Fuck. Banding yourself to a treadmill. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hook a band around your low back and walk on a high incline. Stupid.
Okay.
Brace, like lay yourself on a Stairmaster.
Laying on the Stairmaster.
Laying on the Stairmaster
Yeah,
is a huge pet peeve of mine. Because if you're going to do that, just lower the level and stand up tall. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So there concludes episode number 2 with a little bit of me ranting at the end. Now, next week is going to be really fun because what we're going to do is I'm going to do rapid fire Q&A at her. So this is going to be questions about me personally, like in the bodybuilding world, but then also in like real life stuff. So it's going to be like, hey, what's my favorite cheat food? Easy, right? That's some kind of boring stuff. But then it's going to be like, what's a show that I like to watch that I wouldn't tell anyone about? So again, save these for next time.
You're never gonna guess this one.
Because listen, I watched shitloads of trash TV with her.
Oh, you're never gonna guess this one.
So anyways, so it kind of gave me some insight on things about my life that she knows that not many others do. And she's like really close to me. So next week should be super fun. It's going to be a test, so she will get graded on how many she gets right versus wrong. And we will have a score at the end because it's not fun if you don't keep score. And that's just, again, another personality trait with me. I don't play games just to have fun. It's never that way. Even if her and I are going to a golf course, I'm going to whip that ass all day long. If we play,
that's true.
Well, yeah, it is. If we play putt-putt, what she's actually really good at, and it's annoying, I'm still going to try to win. Like, I don't care. And it doesn't matter if it's the first time of our relationship or last. And then you know what? That's how I'm going to end the segment, right? The first time her and I ever competed against each other athletically, I was much smaller, obviously. the trainer she was working with needed someone to sprint against her.
Worst day ever.
And I worked that ass for like 20 minutes. Now, I almost threw up in the parking lot afterwards, but it was absolutely embarrassing.
I almost beat him on the last one.
Yeah, because I was toast at that point. But, again, another funny story for you guys. Again, that's why I think...
He ran track and field, too.
Yeah. I used to be super athletic. Not anymore. All right, that's it. I need to go eat some steak and rice. She has to get our baby ready because we're going to go on a date tonight, and we have to take them to her parents' house. So thanks for following along, guys. Chris Edmonds TV, Angela Edmonds, the beautiful, hot, sexy wife of mine.
Goodbye.
See ya.